The mental health crisis is killing companies. Right now, 41% of adults in the US have diagnosable mental health conditions that are affecting their productivity at work. That translates into 59% of employees experiencing some form of burnout. And what that means is that 34% of those burnout employees' salaries are completely wasted. So just to put this out there, if you have 500 people at your company, that translates into $6.1 million in wasted salaries a year. There is a high cost to turnover. Some of those costs are direct. Like we know that for every employee who leaves an organization, the cost of replacing that employee is 1 to 1.5 times their annual salary. There are also indirect costs, things like effects on team morale, the pain of change management, all of the training that has to be implemented, loss of subject matter expertise. People take pieces with them that haven't been documented, and there's always a cost to that is a lot harder to measure. Turnover is directly linked to stress and burnout. And when COVID hit, it went through the roof. And since COVID hit, it has actually continued to grow. It has not gone back down. Burnout has increased by 7 points in the last 2 years alone. Another piece of this is absenteeism. And how do we measure the cost of absenteeism? Well, most people can track it through their HRAS and see how many days have been missed and what that does for productivity and efficiency, and having to pull people in if it's an organization where you have to backfill, or paying people time and a half if people come in for overtime. So a lot of those numbers you can come up with. And there is a true financial burden when it comes to employee absenteeism that is easily calculated and justified. Then we have the silent killer, which is presenteeism, right? And that's being at work, but not really being present, being distracted, maybe playing video games when you're supposed to be taking care of support tickets. And we have people that are working more than one job if they're working from home sometimes. So there's a lot of things wrapped into presenteeism as well, which is a lot harder to track. Presenteeism leads to a loss in productivity, and productivity can be measured based on the department and the role. They all have their own outputs and their own productivity measures. And you can see that when employees become less engaged and they become less present in their work, there's a direct effect on the output of those teams. All of this leads to a big ripple effect in any company. You're going to see lower morale, bad culture, and you're going to be hiring more. So how do we address this? Well, we need to implement preventative measures to get ahead of these things. Start being proactive. Start addressing these things before they turn into a revolving door of employees leaving and rehiring. First, we need to promote work-life balance. And we do that by telling employees, and we do that by showing employees. We need to be setting the examples. We need to be building policies that reinforce what we're telling the employees, so that it's not just word of mouth lip service, but they're actually seeing it in action. They're seeing the examples set by their leadership and by their managers, using some of these policies, telling them that time off is okay and they need to do what they need to do to take care of themselves so they can do their best work and bring their best selves to work. Another thing we need to do is mental health training. Most people are not trained when they are moved into a manager position on emotional intelligence, on how to recognize mental health issues in their subordinates, what to say and what not to say. And that actually makes an organization liable if they say the wrong things to an employee. So we need to make sure we're training up our managers, but not just our managers. We need to be training up the whole organization, because employees are 4 times as likely to go to a manager than they are to come to you in HR, but they're twice as likely to go to a peer before going to their manager. So we really need to make sure everyone in the whole organization is trained up on mental health, knows what to do, knows what resources are available, where to point people, what to say, what not to say, when to bring them into HR. And that is a training initiative that we need to make sure we are giving our team, and we're giving it often. And finally, something like Navati, something where you can bring in resources for your employees across all of these different dimensions of mental health, not just access to therapy when someone's in crisis. We want to make sure we're supporting employees in a proactive way. We want to support the healthy employees too. We want to make sure they have access to crisis resources when needed, but that we're getting ahead of that. And here in Navati, that's exactly what we do. You want a partner who is going to work with you on your specific initiatives for your organization, whether that is implementing mental health training throughout the year or having different monthly wellness sessions teaching people about breathing or yoga or nutrition. But you want someone who's going to partner with you and help push these initiatives out and fulfill your well-being goals over the course of the year. Navati is a cost-effective solution to be able to bring into your organization to improve the effects of stress and burnout and morale. In fact, one of our customers I was just talking to last week in the healthcare space said that their employee feedback survey said that employees that don't even use Navati feel more valued knowing that it is there to support them. And Navati has proven across all of our customers that we see 8 times the employee retention on average for users of Navati versus the employees who do not use the platform. And on average, across all industries, we see a $5 return on investment for every dollar invested in mental health. And this is very well documented. But it is definitely something worth investing in. And if we can be of help at all in helping you build that plan and be that partner, we would love to speak to you.